These questions were directly taken from the internet by the examiner. So the questions are: innovative entrepreneurs may have to pay high insurance premium due to the options where they need to protect patents. It is here patents, actually it is the patents. B, greater employee liability. C, greater customer liability. And D part was greater trading risk. The correct option to this question was rather the first one, that is A. Okay, coming to the next question that were taken from the internet directly. Cost benefit analysis of international trade. The options were given: focuses attention on conflicts of interests between countries. B part was focuses attention on conflicts of interest within the countries. C is basically useless. D is empirically intractable. The correct option was this very focuses attention on conflict interest within the countries. So the order of the options may vary, but the questions were taken from the internet. Just they copy pasted the questions. Now coming to the next part, the question is the focus groups individual respondents and panels of respondents are classified as: A, pointed data sources. B, itemized data sources. C was secondary data sources, and the D part was primary data sources. The correct option to this question was this: primary data sources. So I repeat, the options could have any order on the paper, but the questions were directly taken from the internet. Okay, coming to the next question: social security can be justified on the grounds of. So I will just the options were adverse selection, income distribution, parentalism, or all of the above. The correct option was adverse selection. Next question. Next question was: if policy makers set a target for unemployment that is too low, that's too low because it is less than the natural rate of unemployment, this can be the stage for the high rate of money growth. And the correct option to this question is the demand pull inflation. So you can match the options in the papers. So these are just the copy paste questions that were taken from the internet by the examiner. Coming to the next question: which of the following is not an element of redistribution with growth policy? The options were minimum wage legislation, land reforms, progressive taxation, and increased access to education. The correct option is the A, that is minimum wage legislation. Okay. Next question was sorry. Next question was: when the government chooses to spend the tax dollars that it collects on homeland security, its choice, the options were given as illustrates that the scarcity does not always exist. B was involves no trade-off because the defense is necessary. C option is involves a trade-off of other goods and services such as education for more homeland security. And D part was primarily for affects who gets the goods and services produced rather. So the correct option to this question was this C part. Okay. Coming to the next question that was asked: suppose the economy is producing at the natural rate of output and the government passes legislation that severely restricts a company's ability to reduce production costs via outsourcing, everything else held constant. This policy action will cause. So the correct option is given as will cause an increase in the unemployment rate in the short run and an increase in the inflation in the short run. So I repeat, these questions were directly taken from the internet sources. Let us see what is the question here. Because of the presence of asymmetric information problems in the credit market, an expansionary monetary policy causes dash in the net worth, which dash the adverse selection problem, thereby dash increased lending to finance investment spending. So I didn't get the question, but I know the correct option is here B, that is rises, reduces, and encouraging to this question. So B part, that is rises, reduces, and encouraging. Okay. Coming to the next question. Firms are organized to keep their costs as low as possible by the options were comparing external transaction costs within internal operating costs, analyzing supply and demand conditions, C, minimizing their use of borrowed technology, D, or rather borrowed funds, D was utilizing the latest technology. So the correct option to this question was the A part, that is comparing external transaction costs within the internal operating costs. Coming to the next question, if everyone benefits from helping poor, the options were government intervention cannot improve social well-being. B part was eliminating tax aimed at redistributing income will make rich people better off. C, taxing the wealthy to raise the living standards of poor can potentially make everyone better off. And D part was private markets can adequately provide charity programs to help the poor despite free riders problem. The correct option to this question was C part, that is taxing the wealthy to raise the living standards of the poor can potentially make everyone better off. Okay. And is a Laffer curve shows the relationship between tax rate and tax revenue. How it shows, if we take tax rate on this axis and tax revenue on the vertical axis, the Laffer curve states that if we start increasing the tax rate, our tax revenue will also increase, but at a certain point we cannot increase the tax rate. If we increase the tax rate, then the tax revenue will decrease. So we cannot forever increase the tax rate. There is a point from which the tax revenue starts decreasing if we increase the tax rate. So this relation is shown by the Laffer curve. Okay. Another question is deadweight loss refers to the decrease in the total surplus that results from the tax. So this option is correct. Graphically it means, I can only show you here, if this is demand curve, this is our supply curve, and this is the equilibrium quantity, and this is equilibrium price. Imposition of the tax will shift the supply curve up, and we will get the new price and new quantity. Now the deadweight lost is this very triangle, or it is the total surplus lost because of the imposition of the tax. Actually, I have made the videos on graphing in economics. You can see how it is calculated. So the correct option is rather this decrease in the total surplus that results from a tax increase. I am not sure about what were the options. I have actually collected these very questions from various sources. Okay, coming to the next question. The variables whose calculation is done according to the weight, height, and length and weight are known as, these are called the continuous variables. The correct option is continuous variable. Next question is, If OPEC cut the production of oil, what will happen? Demand of gasoline will increase, demand of gasoline decrease, supply of gasoline increase, or supply of gasoline decrease. The correct option, I guess, is the supply of gasoline will decrease, because gasoline is a product of petroleum. When the production of oil, which is the petroleum, is decreased, simply the supply of gasoline will also decrease. Next question is, sustainable economic growth depend upon, so it depends upon both savings and investment rate. The correct option is this, savings and investment rate. Okay, coming to the next question, in the macroeconomic short run, which best describes the classical Keynesian system? So it says in the short run we are in Keynesian world, but in the long run rather we are in the classical world. This very option is correct. Okay, coming to the next question, in a closed economy model we have aggregate demand is sum of consumer expenditure, planned investment spending, and government spending. Actually, the aggregate demand in the closed model is given by C plus I plus G, but these are all the planned expenditures. Okay, so since I'm not sure what were the options, but I guess this very option is correct. Coming to the next question, so I have just collected these very questions. These are from the current affairs or not related to the economics. That is, current history year is, that is 1442 this time, which or this year rather. And another question that is from the economics is, all employees should be fully acquainted, and the right answer is with. Coming to the next question, capital of Chile is, that is Santiago. Next question was, world's largest landlocked country is Kazakhstan, that is Kazakhstan. Largest Pakistani Islamic bank, that is Mizan Bank. Earth rotates from west to east. Okay. Etikaf means seclusion. Kafala means to guarantee or to take care of in Arabic. And type of switching used in internet is the packet switching.